today is about our hair parts. Every person has a big eye and a little eye. And the way that you tell is just by looking at yourself in the mirror, and whichever eye is more open, or whichever eyebrow has the higher arch, or whichever one you can see the most lid on, then that is your big eye. So this is my big eye, and this is my small eye. The other factor that comes into play with parts is cowlicks. I personally think that you should switch up your part as often as you can, whether that's every other wash or maybe just once a month or whatever. That usually helps tame your cowlicks. So you're the one that's kind of in control of how stubborn it is instead of just always letting it win. But for me, I found that if I change up my part, my cowlicks aren't as prominent. So if you do have a really prominent cowlick, and you work with it, you're going to get a little less volume, but it's not going to be as difficult to work with throughout the day. Like, your hair isn't going to give you as many issues. Knowing that information, you kind of can figure out if you want to rock a middle part, a side part, or a deep side part. If you want to show off your big eye and or make yourself look more awake or more doe-eyed, or if you have a favorite eyebrow and you want to show that one off, then you want to part it on that side. So if you part it basically directly from the pupil up, then that is going to create an arrow in a sense. So this line of my part is pointing directly at my bigger eye. So basically what that's going to do is that's going to draw attention to my big eye and show it off, showcase it in a sense. If you want to do the side part on the opposite eye, going from the pupil of your eye up, what that is going to do is make your face look more symmetrical. Because your large eye is kind of hidden under the weight from the heavier side of your hair, it's going to kind of squish it in a sense and make the eyes look more symmetrical. For pictures, you will see more of your pupil and your iris in photos if you part your hair on the side with the larger eye, because that way you don't have this eye hidden in shadow and then this eye that's more squinty and closed when you smile. Let's talk about middle parts. So like I mentioned earlier, a part kind of gives you an arrow. So what a middle part does is it complements a very symmetrical face. So if you have a face with very, very symmetrical features, or you're wanting to show off your bone structure, whether that's high cheekbones or a jawline, then a middle part is going to be your best friend. All that it does is kind of like helps split your face in half and really showcase how symmetrical your face is. One other thing that it will enhance or draw attention to is your nose, because of that same principle of it being an arrow and pointing at something on your face. The thing that it's pointing at, if it's in a middle part, is your nose. Now let's talk about deep parts. So those are ones that are usually taken from the highest point of your recession, the curve of your hairline right here. You go to the very highest point and up from there. And what that does is it hides a large forehead in a sense, and then at the same time also exaggerates it. So if you have a really high recession line, then your arrow or the part line is going to be exaggerating that even more. So if you're self-conscious about the space in between your forehead from your eyebrow to your hairline, then you won't like this part. But it does help have all of this weight from your hair on this heavy side is going to kind of sit in front of your forehead. So in a sense, it will hide and mask some of your forehead. The other thing that it will do is it showcases cheekbones. If you love your cheekbones, then, or you want to show those off, or if you've done a really awesome contour, then a really deep set part is going to kind of show that off and showcase it. The one thing to keep in mind, especially with photos and this kind of a part, is whichever side you part your hair on is your good side. If you take pictures from here, so much of your face is hidden and you only see this waterfall of hair. You can't really see this style or a full shape to your hairstyle when you take pictures from this side versus this side that kind of shows both aspects of the hair, both the heavy side that's coming up and over here and what's happening right here. So whichever side you part your hair on, that is going to be your good side for photos. There's a lot of girls that don't really have a part, they just kind of flop their hair over to one side or the other where it doesn't really have any rhyme or reason. What that is going to do is not give any sort of structure to your hair, but instead is going to help balance it out. Usually if you don't have a super intense defined part, you have equal volume on both sides, and that just kind of helps balance out your face and gives you a really soft, natural, tousled hair look. So let's say you've decided to part your hair on one of the sides. You like the attention that it's bringing to your face, it feels like it's showing your face off in the way that you want, but what you don't like is that you have a thin side and a heavy side to your hair, and that it's not symmetrical with your hairstyle. So the way that you fix that is keep this part right here, the arrow that's drawing the line towards whatever you're wanting to show off, but then from there go in and bring your hair part towards the middle at an angle. What that is going to do is that's going to give you a little bit of extra hair on your light side or the not heavy side, and it'll help balance out the volume that you're getting on your hair on each side. Go ahead and spend some time in the mirror, take a look at yourself, analyze your facial shape and the structure and which side is your best side, whether that's because of a larger eye or bone structure, or maybe it's just the side that you're trying to mask from pimples. It sounds like it's so much work and so much effort that goes into picking apart, but just play around with it, and I think it'll kind of make sense when you start seeing yourself like throughout the day wearing your hair with a new part. You'll figure out if you like it or not. Those are my tips about hair parts. Hopefully you guys enjoy them or learn something. I'm gonna hold you tight, 'cause you're the only thing that I haven't done a video standing up before. It's kind of liberating, like I can like dance and move and shimmy and shake.